Another example of how expressive arts can really help during the grieving process is another example I'm going to give you from my personal use. So I was working with an art therapist and I was working with clay, and I didn't know what I was bringing. So I didn't have a question or a certain topic like guilt or um, anything like that. I didn't know what I was feeling that day, and I decided to work with clay. So clay was quite hard. So I massaged my hands to begin, just to sensitize my hands, and then started warming up the clay to get it more malleable. And I really didn't know what was on my mind. As I mentioned in another video, I was grieving the loss of my mother and my sister who had died a month apart, and the grief was very confusing and as it often is, and so I didn't know what I was coming with. So I started working with clay, and surprisingly, I ended up making a shape that I identified as something that was really angering me. But when I came in and I was talking to the therapist, I didn't mention it to begin the session because it was something that, I pushed aside. It's like something that maybe you could call it an unthinkable, or something you don't feel comfortable talking about, or you don't know what to do with it. So this really came through in my image. It was very obvious what it was, and I kept working with the clay, and I had a lot of tears. It started as anger, and I was pounding it. So it's really great to sometimes release some of those feelings through a sensory expressive form like clay. And so I just kept working and working and working and cried a lot. And then, in the end, it's like I worked through things on my own without even explaining too much to my therapist at the time. And in the end, I had another shape, which was like kind of like a bowl or a nest with three eggs in it. And the meaning to me was, at the time, I was angry at my brother-in-law, and in the end, this symbol meant to me that that was their family. Their My sister, her husband, and my nephew, and they were in the nest. And so it brought me a real piece of, um, you know, this process of feeling angry at him, and feeling like I couldn't do anything to help my sister. And in the end, it was like, the onus of the problem or what was going on wasn't mine, and I had taken it on. So this anger in this situation was really weighing on me, and I had stuffed it behind me and not talked about it to anybody. And I don't know if I could have come up with the words. So again, the expressive arts came up with the situation and the words and the healing for me when I couldn't have given you those words for it. And it left me with a sense of perspective that, it was my sister's choice in these situations, and it was their family, and it's not mine. And it showed me a boundary of and respect of, like, that this is their family, and it's not my family, and it's not my control or my business what to do with somebody else's family. So I really felt with a lot of peace, left with a lot of peace after that. And so that's another way that you can get insights or have some kind of transformation, sometimes through expressive arts.